Hello, my name is Kaylin MacDonald and my mentor is Dr. Amy Krappel, and my title is Partisanship or National Preferences, Eastern and Central European Policy Position Origins in the Council of the EU. So the legislative branch of the Council of the EU, also known as the Council, consists of national representatives from each member state. The voting ministers representing their member states are usually representative of their national positions. So for example, the Minister for the Environment would be representing the member state in the EU for environmental issues. They vote on legislation to be passed into law and implemented by the member states. There are 10 different configurations in which the Council meets. Some of these include the economy, foreign affairs, and agriculture and fisheries. So herein lies a principal-agent relationship. Who does a national minister represent in the Council when they're creating legislation? As you can see, here's a model of the principal-agent relationship. The principal delegates authority to an agent to carry out tasks on behalf of the principal. The agent may not necessarily be from the same party as the principal. So is the agent functioning with the principal's best interests in mind, or are they basing their decisions off their own interests? Without a doubt, the national ministers are doing what is best for their country in their own eyes. But does it also reflect how the heads of state and government would form legislation? In this case, the principal is going to be member state leadership. This includes heads of government and state, and the agents are the national ministers in the legislative branch, the Council of the EU. So the purpose of this study is to analyze the council representative preferences versus national outcome preferences in Central and Eastern European member states to see the origins of policymaking. I'll also be looking at any skewed ideological positions for specific policy issues. Our methodology is based primarily on a DEU3 dataset and the ParlGov database. So from the DEU3 dataset, we'll be addressing 13 different policy issue categories, which include market regulation, the environment, immigration, and social equality. The DEU3 dataset's a continuation of DEU1 and 2 datasets. So since not all of the methodology has been released in an article for DEU3, we'll base it off of the DEU2 dataset information. So for DEU2, 349 experts within the field were interviewed to gauge party positions on a 100-point scale, each end being an extreme for a preferred outcome. They were collected for 331 controversial issues across 125 legislative proposals. And I'll be using this data to evaluate differences in policy positions between the national ministers' preferences and their member states' national preferences. So our second database we're using is the ParlGov database, and this is a collection of party election and cabinet data for 37 different countries. So in my research, I'll be evaluating the 28, now 27 EU member states, and then I'll be focusing on the 11 Central and Eastern European member states specifically. This database is used for pulling the EU member state information. So in this case, the prime ministers and national ministers as parties. And here on the right side is a screenshot of the ParlGov database for Poland. As you can see, they have a history of coalition governments, some being very broadly based. Is it possible that some national ministers will come from those parties? Yes, it's very possible. So questions I plan to address: how do the preferred outcomes of the council ministers differentiate from those of national preferences in Central and Eastern European member states? And what are the implications of these differences if they exist? What are the implications of specific issue policy drifts? And then remember that it is possible that there are effects of these preference differences on a large scale. And then from my results, I hope that we'll have a better understanding of the EU institutions' decision-making process and the roles of ideology on the formation of their legislation. And I hope that we can isolate any issues that represent skewed ideological preferences for Central and Eastern European countries. One issue we faced with the data collections period was matching parties across data sets and over a period of time, especially where successor parties had formed. And we remedied this by analyzing other data sets for clarification. We're still in the preliminary stages of analysis for our data set, but I hope to evaluate the results this fall. And then for acknowledgements, I'd like to express my gratitude to my mentor, Dr. Amy Krappel, for her continued support throughout my research endeavors. And I'd also like to thank the UF McNair staff first for my acceptance into the program, and then for their investment in the success of first-gen low-income and minority students at UF. So thank you.